A dog has just died at a veterinary clinic, and before the owner has even reached the parking lot, someone has to choose an aftercare option. One box is cheaper because the ashes do not come back. One costs more because the pet is separated. The most expensive option promises a private cremation, an urn, a paw print, maybe engraving, maybe a pendant, maybe a certificate. This is the moment a pet crematorium gets unusual pricing power. The customer needs an answer today, cannot easily comparison shop, and is afraid the low price might feel like a low-value goodbye. But the owner of the crematorium does not keep the whole farewell bill. That money has to move through pickup routes, cold storage, fuel, operators, paperwork, packaging, insurance, permits, equipment debt, and the promise that the ashes returned are actually the right ashes. So this episode follows the money from the veterinary counter to the urn shelf and asks, after the grief, the logistics, and the trust risk, how much can the owner really keep? A pet crematorium is not a veterinary clinic. The clinic treats the animal, may perform euthanasia, and often presents the aftercare form. The crematorium receives the body after death, stores it safely, performs flame cremation, or sometimes coordinates aquamation, processes the remains, packages them, and returns or disposes of them according to the service chosen. It is also not automatically a pet funeral home, which may sell ceremonies, viewings, grief rooms, and memorial events. A pet cemetery sells burial plots and markers. A memorial retailer sells urns, jewelry, paw prints, frames, and keepsakes. A pet aftercare company can combine the crematory, transport, tracking, veterinary portal, and retail catalog. The business, therefore, sells more than fire. It sells a chain of custody. Communal cremation means multiple pets are cremated together and individual ashes are not returned. Partitioned cremation means more than one pet may be in the chamber, separated by space or barriers, with some commingling risk depending on the process. Private cremation means one pet alone, with returned remains meant to belong only to that pet. Aquamation is a separate alkaline water process, available only where allowed and offered. Those definitions are not technical trivia. They are the difference between a cheap service, a returned remains service, and a premium certainty product. The broader pet economy is enormous. APPA reported that U.S. pet industry spending reached $158 billion in NAMAS and projected $165 billion in shits, but a crematorium does not capture the whole pet economy. It captures one low-frequency, high-emotion moment. Grand View Research estimated the U.S. pet funeral services market at about $576 million in 25, with cremation as the largest service segment. For a local owner, the national number is less important than density. Enough pets, enough veterinary clinics, enough route volume, and enough chamber utilization inside a reachable service area. That is why the opportunity is easy to overstate. A family may see a $200 or $300 invoice. The operator sees a miniature logistics network. Deaths arrive on their own schedule. Private cremation protects identity, but uses capacity less flexibly than communal batches. A van route can lose money if stops are sparse. Cold storage has to smooth the queue. One clinic switching providers can damage monthly volume. The business is not priced only by heat. It is priced by convenience, identity, and trust. The first price driver is service type and weight. A small cat, a medium dog, and a large dog do not use the same handling time, chamber space, fuel, cooling time, or packaging. Public provider pages commonly show communal cremation below returned remains service, and private cremation rising by weight tier. Then logistics are added. Veterinary pickup can be cheaper or included because the route can batch stops. Home pickup is harder. After-hours pickup, weekend service, distance, and urgent return all turn grief into route economics. Then the memorial layer begins. The basic container can become a wood urn. The urn can get engraving. A paw print can be ink, clay, framed, or duplicated. A fur clipping can be added. A witness appointment can be scheduled. A certificate can be printed. A pendant can hold a tiny amount of ashes. None of this has to be dishonest to be profitable. The physical cost may be modest, but the customer is not buying clay or metal alone. They are buying a final object that makes the goodbye feel complete. In this business, attach rate can be the difference between an industrial service and a much better margin aftercare company. The veterinary clinic is often the gatekeeper. It is where many deaths happen, where staff already have the family's trust, and where the owner may not want to search online. For the crematorium, a clinic relationship can produce predictable cases. For the clinic, a reliable aftercare provider means fewer bodies held on-site, cleaner paperwork, fewer delayed return calls, and less reputational risk. Large aftercare companies market tracking systems, portals, certified processes, and clinic resources because the clinic needs confidence that the handoff will not become its problem. This channel also creates the consumer concern. If a grieving family only sees one menu through the clinic, comparison shopping is weak. The clinic may simply use the provider that has been reliable for years, but the result is still powerful. Demand can be won before the family ever searches. A local crematorium may spend money on pickup bins, account visits, forms, software, staff training, fast complaint resolution, and relationship maintenance. Because one clinic sending 10 or 20 cases a month can be more valuable than many one-time website leads. It is recurring demand without a subscription contract, and losing it hurts fast. Behind the soft language is an industrial service business. A pet crematory needs a retort, an ash processor, identification tags or discs, body bags, carts, PPE, urn inventory, refrigeration, vehicles, and a facility allowed by zoning and air rules. Equipment suppliers describe units by chamber size and pounds per hour. Startup guides commonly place a lean, independent setup somewhere under or around a few $100,000, while franchise systems can require higher all-in investment plus royalties and marketing fees. The retort is only one bottleneck. Cold storage matters because arrivals do not match the schedule. Route density matters because a van can burn time without producing cremations. Labor matters because remains must be tagged, logged, moved, cremated, cooled, processed, packaged, and matched back to paperwork. Fuel and utilities matter because every batch consumes energy. Maintenance matters because burners, refractory, processors, controls, and stacks wear out. Compliance can include zoning, business licensing, fire inspection, air permitting, worker safety, waste handling, and insurance. The owner is not buying a magic margin machine. The owner is buying a small industrial plant wrapped in an emotional promise. Now model one local U.S. operator serving several veterinary clinics plus direct families. In the base case, it handles 2,640 cremation orders a year, or about 220 per month. 32% are communal, 18% partitioned, and 50% private. About two-thirds come through veterinary channels. The average core service price is about $214 before add-ons, pickup, rush handling, urn upgrades, paw prints, fur keepsakes, engraving, certificates, and small memorial products lift total annual revenue to roughly $698,000. Then the waterfall drains. Packaging and memorial goods take about $47,000. Fuel and utilities take about $52,000. Operators and route labor take about $170,000. Customer service and admin take about $62,000. Facility, refrigeration, vehicles, insurance, compliance, marketing, software, relationship costs, depreciation, and maintenance consume much of the rest. In this base case, EBITDA is about $149,000. After $42,000 of equipment debt service, the owner has roughly $107,000 of pre-tax distributable cash before income tax and before paying themselves for extra owner labor. The weak case is much less romantic. At 120 orders a month, with more communal cremation and less direct pricing power, revenue is only about $285,000. Fixed costs remain. EBITDA is almost flat, and after debt service, the owner is negative. The strong case is what entrepreneurs imagine. 350 orders a month, 60% private cremation, stronger direct demand, better routes, and higher memorial attach rate. Revenue can exceed $1.3 million, with owner cash after debt in the low 300s. Same business, different utilization. The model is most sensitive to trust, mix, and referrals. If private cremation share falls from 50% to 40%, base case EBITDA can drop by more than $50,000. If veterinary referrals fall by a quarter and direct marketing has to replace them, owner cash can be cut by more than half. If labor and fuel rise 15%, the hit is immediate. If equipment maintenance arrives early, cash shrinks fast. If memorial attach rate falls, the high margin layer disappears. A new competitor does not need to win every case. Taking a few clinics or cutting private cremation prices can damage a fixed-cost operator. The worst shock is a trust incident. A credible complaint about wrong ashes, unclear partitioning, missing tags, or sloppy paperwork can push clinics to reroute cases before the facts are fully resolved. That is why tracking systems, metal tags, transfer logs, witness options, certificates, and plain definitions are not just ethics, they are economic protection. So is this a high-margin grief business or a heavy local service business? The answer is both, depending on utilization and transparency. A respectful provider solves a real problem at a terrible moment. It removes remains from a clinic or home, handles them safely, keeps records, performs the process, and returns something the family can understand. That service has real costs. But the same moment gives the provider pricing power. The family is tired. The decision is urgent. The difference between a basic container and an upgraded keepsake can be priced far above material cost because the customer is buying meaning. The stable winners are not always the owner. Equipment suppliers get paid. The landlord gets paid. Insurers get paid. Fuel, labor, and maintenance get paid. A franchisor gets paid if the unit is franchised. The owner gets the residual cash and the residual blame. At low volume, the business is fragile. At base volume, it can support a solid local owner income. At strong volume, it can become very attractive. But the product is not ashes. The product is certainty. Certainty is expensive to build, easy to lose, and only profitable when enough families believe it.